Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to my review for... What's that? You needed another Cinderella movie? I mean, there's been 500 of them, but you need one more? Well, guess what? Disney's done it before, but in cartoon form. Now, they're gonna do it live action. Welcome to Disney's Cinderella. Ooh boy. I was not looking forward to this film. I'm just gonna tell you straight up. I'm sorry if you're a little kid watching this, a little girl, whatever, or a big fan of Disney live action movies, but I was not looking forward to this. One reason is because I thought the trailer itself looked very, very generic and very silly. Two, Disney never really does, not never, but mostly is miss more than hit with their live action stuff. Unless it's something like Saving Mr. Banks, which wasn't really based on fairy tale or anything. I mean, kind of. Mary Poppins, but it wasn't based on that. It was based on whatever. Go see that movie. That was a great movie. But I wasn't really looking forward to it because they never really do amazing live action stuff. And three, I don't like the Cinderella story. I really don't. I think it's generic. I think the original Disney film is one of the weakest. I don't like any of the characters. I hate that it really spends most of the time with the animals. It's one of the least charming movies I've seen, and that's funny because there's a character called Prince Charming. But no, really, I don't care for the story, and I don't care for the animated movie. I don't care for any of them besides maybe Ever After. That was okay. That was pretty good, mostly because I love Drew Barrymore, but whatever. But anyway, what did I think of this new Cinderella? Seeing that I already started the review off really positive, well, you might be a little surprised, or you might not. The story for Cinderella, it's Cinderella. There's really no differences between this Cinderella and the one created 50, 60 years ago from Disney, whenever the hell that came out. I don't even remember. I don't really care. Like I said, I don't like that version. But it's the same story, really, besides maybe very little minute details. Like, in this movie, Prince Charming isn't called Prince Charming, even though in the credits he's called that, but no one calls him that. They call him either the Prince or Kit. That's what he likes to be called, Kit. But for the most part, there's all, I mean, everything's here. You got the wicked stepmother, played by Cate Blanchett this time, who treats Ella like crap. They even, like, give her the nickname Cinderella because she cleans the cinder out of the fireplace. There's the fairy godmother who gives her all the stuff she needs to go to the ball, but she has a time limit. At midnight, everything she's using turns back into what it was, so she has to get back to the place before that happens. It's the same story. I don't need to explain it. If you don't know the story of Cinderella, first of all, get out of the rock that you've been living under for your entire life and actually watch a movie. And two, look it up, because it's the story of Cinderella. That's it, okay? I will admit, though, like I said before, I'm not a big fan of the story. Somehow, someway, a live-action version of Cinderella, a story I do not like, ended up actually making me kind of like it. This is a decent, very decent, actually, pretty good. I would go to say pretty good version of a story I don't like. I will give Kenneth Branagh and all the writers credit here. They made me actually care for not only Cinderella, which I never cared for before, besides maybe in Ever After, like I said, only because of Drew Barrymore. I love Drew Barrymore. But not only that, it made me really like Ella, made me really like the prince, made me really, really hate the wicked stepmother in a way that makes me love her. I hate her because she's so evil, but she's played so spectacularly by Cate Blanchett that I love her. If that makes sense. I hate her, but I love her because she's played so well. I love her. I hate her because she's played so well. That's a conundrum. But anyway, I really, really think Cate Blanchett is the highlight of this film. She is fantastic. But she is so much better than the cartoon version. And even the daughters are much more annoying, but not annoying to the point where I'm just like, I'm going to rip my freaking ears out. They're annoying, but it's kind of funny how annoying they are. Which I just found the Disney one, they're annoying. And evil to the point where I'm just like, alright, they're annoying and now they're being evil. I hope they die. In this one, at least there's parts where I actually found them kind of funny. Mostly because of how Cate Blanchett's character, the evil stepmother, actually like reacts to some of the things they do. Like there's a part where one of the daughters is singing, and she's singing so terribly, and by the end of her song, Cate Blanchett just says, "Man, shut the hell up." Like, I love that. That's really good. There's some good reactions in here. All the actors do a damn good job. The girl that plays Cinderella is really, really good. She's beautiful, but she's really good, and she doesn't have the most like generic beauty look to her, like, if you know what I mean. Like, she's blonde haired, which is Cinderella, sure, but she doesn't have a face that makes her look like the generic beauty pageant looking Disney princess character, which I will give them credit. They got someone that's beautiful, but not like generic beautiful, I guess. And of course they got Richard Madden, who played wow, now I'm gonna forget, Robb Stark in Game of Thrones, to play the prince, and he's great in this as well. When they're together, Cinderella and Prince Charming, or Kit, they're actually really likable, and I actually want them to get together, because in the original, I don't know anything about them, and I don't care. But in this movie, I actually do. So I'll give that credit. So all the characters, hell, even some of the writing, the direction, the way the movie looks, it's actually very classical in style, and I actually really appreciated that. And they made the story actually somewhat fun and entertaining, a villain that I actually really like, and just some humor in there that actually did work. But of course I have some problems. One of my major problems is that the special effects in this film are meant to be very cheesy and colorful and not meant to look the most realistic, but there's times where the special effects really come out of nowhere. Like the rats in this film, they couldn't film real rats just moving around at times. There's times where the rats are just moving around like regular rats. They're not doing anything kind of like humanoid or anything, like walking around or something. They're just rats, but they CG them up, and they look really fake at times. There's also, of course, the part with the cart, with the pumpkin that turns into the cart. There's a couple of scenes in there that look really silly and green screened, which kind of took me out of the film. That whole part where they're trying to race back from the ball to the castle, so of course it's midnight and everything's turning back. That scene is decent until you see some of the green screen and special effects and stuff. Then it's like, okay, I'm getting taken out of this. Also, I really actually don't love the way the movie ends. Like, I mean, it's okay. It's the classic Cinderella way it ends, whatever. But I felt like it ended on kind of like a whimper. Besides, like, oh, spectacular. I thought it could have ended a little bit better. I mean, it just ends in the typical Cinderella way, but until then, I was really like, oh, this is the best Cinderella story. And then it ends just like any other Cinderella movie. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought maybe they would have a little bit more, but not really. But for the most part, this is a really fun movie. Disney, I wouldn't say knocked out of the park, but they did a good job of updating a classic story without actually really updating it. They updated it, but not really. I mean, it's the same story, but they updated it in a way for me to actually like it. They just put more character in it, which is good. All the animals, they're just there in the background. They make little funny faces sometimes, but for the most part, it's all about the human characters. And I actually like them. All the acting is great here. I really like this film. I'm going to give it a 31 out of 40. I think it's a decent Disney film. Really good, actually, I would say. Not even decent, just really good. So there you go. That's my review for Cinderella. I thought it was good. There you go. Hope you enjoyed my review. Thank you, and goodbye.